Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the annual Electors General Meeting, Tuesday, the 8th of November 2022. Attendance is an apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Skender and an apology from Councillor Maslin and an apology from Councillor Cotton. Thank you. Confirmation of the minutes. We need to confirm the minutes of this AGM held on the 16th of June 2021. Please. Councillor Vanderleer, Councillor Fullerton. Is there any business arising from those minutes or questions or anything at all? Is there any debate over that? There being no debate or questions, I'll declare that adopted unanimously. Thank you. Receiving of the annual report, item 3, annual 3.1, sorry. Annual report and financial statements of the year ended 30th of June 2021. I have a mover, please. Councillor Vanderleer, thank you. A seconder, please. Councillor Ferreira, thank you. Councillor Vanderleer, would you like to open the debate?
The debate's open. I don't really have much to add to the debate aside from urging councillors to support the financial report as it is presented. A lot of time has gone into preparing it and we're a bit behind where we'd like to be, but we've taken steps along the process to try and improve, well, taking steps along the way to try and improve the process, and that is still a work in progress. And I suspect that this time the coming financial year will be adopted in a more timely fashion because of those steps that have been taken. So I look forward to that happening and urge councillors to support this as it stands and commend the effort that's gone into preparing it as well. It's easy to say we're late, but we have arrived, and it's better to arrive late than not to arrive. And a lot of hard work has gone into it. So well done to those people, and thanks for the efforts, and let's get it right, more right going forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Vanderleer. Councillor Fullerton, I'm quite sure you wish to say something.
Oh, I thank you, sir. I echo Councillor Vanderleer's thoughts and philosophy. And they say, don't read it, weigh it. But it's worth reading, and it's definitely weighs a bit. I commend Mrs. Selvey and her staff, and particularly Mrs. Selvey. We're coming off the back of a very, very long, protracted era, and we've been pretty harsh. And I must admit, I'm probably one of the worst critics, Mrs. Selvey. But you've risen to the event, and thank you. I look back and I saw that we went years without a permanent CEO, years. And then you've come along and times have changed. I know that things begin with society, and socially there's been a big turnaround, a big change. Financially, our records were atrocious. And that was a lot to fix. And it's well on the way. It's not yet fixed, but it's well on the way to being fixed. And we know where the problems are. And that's a long way towards the solution. I commend you, Mr. Selvey, for this report. It's very comprehensive. And extend thanks to the staff. And I know you've had a lot of problems with those sort of things. Carnarvon is not the easiest place in the world to recruit Mensa students. And well done. Well done. And we look forward to the next one fairly closely behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Fullerton. Is there any?
Thank you, Mr. President. Through the chair, I actually want to acknowledge Mrs. Hill, who puts most of the effort into compiling this report and getting the information together from the various teams. So I wanted to make sure that was known. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any speakers against the motion? There being no speakers against the motion, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. I'll refer you back to your agenda. General business as permitted by the Shire President. Sorry, my apologies, people. I've missed public question time. Is there any questions from the public?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Come here.
yeah, but it's me, not this.
Okay.
And I've got to get cockpits put in soon. It'll be a ball change, but I just don't hear a word, so.
Oh, sorry.
You haven't lived next to a powerhouse, so you wouldn't know what it's like, my friend.
She'll have to put up with me. Don't worry about it.
My apologies. Is there any public questions? There no public questions? Okay,
But
thank you.
when you get down to general business, I'll have 2 blocks worth.
Well, item 5, general business as permitted by the Shire President. Right now,
Right now,
right now.
some of the things that I'd like to ask.
Do you just want to introduce yourself to those people that don't know you?
In the corporate structure, you've got income of 17 million and an expense of 21 million. What happens to get the shortfall?
It was carryovers and project monies?
Well, it's such a significant difference. I mean, on my bank account, if I only earn this and spend that,
Yeah.
there's a hole.
Carry forward surplus.
Yeah,
It's a question of timing, there's timing involved.
yeah, yeah. So it's a carryover of surplus monies, but there's a timing difference in the reporting of it. Is that correct?
Okay, one would expect to see if there's a carryover, or if you're borrowing, or whatever, but on face value,
Yeah.
this is the income, this is the expense, it doesn't balance.
Yeah.
By a long shot. Well, that's the first one. The second one relates very much to staff.
Can I, just with that one, to help you, can we send you a written answer? Yeah.
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 I don't expect an answer straight off, because it is more involved.
Okay, but because I think it's
But
not
it,
over
you
here.
know, it demonstrates to me a bit of creative accounting. So, right, that's the first one. The second one is staff. You've got pretty close to a 60% turnover in a year.
Yeah.
Any business that had that level of staff turnover, it will be of a serious concern.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there's 6 months to get someone on the payroll and find out what to do. The next 6 months, they're hell bent on trying to get out of the place. You don't get productive workers like that. Council's employing 70 people. For Christ's sake, what do you do with 70 people? That's an enormous number. You're here to manage a town. You've turned yourselves into doers. You take on pretty much most of the work in the town. The town used to survive on contractors who lived and worked here. Their kids got jobs. Now you've turned this place into an industry where council is the doer. That's lost the plot. We're here to manage, not doers. CEO's done a good job in my book, but you people, if you're in the private sector, you'd be gone. You'd be gone tomorrow. There's no number to put up with this rubbish. It's not on. So councillors need to take a really serious look at your role as managers, not doers. The other one that bothers me, where I live in next door to Horizon Power, we planted trees there years ago, 45 years ago. They've just managed to cut down and grind off at ground level 5 of them. There has to be some reasonable grounds for pruning every bloody tree in front of Horizon Power.
They said it was the
No, nobody
Shires
knows
doing
about it. Nobody wants, everyone's
Shires
come off at
told
ground
me.
level.
Contractor told me.
And this has been a lot of hard work over the years with vandalism, trying to get them to grow from little, and to come along and prune the lot. And this is your paddock. Surely you would know what's happening.
But they don't prune the trees all the way down the road, only up to a certain corner. They manicure them every so often, but not up our end. Plus, they only come and mow the road verge when the road's dead, the ground's dead. And we're just clouded with dust. They don't even give you like most businesses send out a letter in a letterbox. We're going to be cutting the road verges between 7 and 6. or 7 and 10. They never let you know. Same as Horizon Power now, how they're building. It's 7 days a week and it's sentimental. Our house is cracking because of the thumping of the big shed at the back. And Horizon Power said that they would contact us when other work was going to be in process. We've never heard from the day that the Cowboys moved in from Karratha, and they're just so rough, and they don't want to know.
Yeah, my wife sees a lot of these things just on the face, but the reality of today, contractors are having a difficult time with material supplies and all the rest to go on, and I acknowledge that. So while the wife gets upset, this is the real world. These people are having a difficult time. In fact, most contractors are. The drainage area in front of this place, and I'm sure most councils here have seen it, when we had the last heavy rains, right, they're directly across from us in what now Bow or was Bow Repairs, right, there were 350 mils of water on their concrete floor, 400 outside. This has happened as a direct result of council. The water used to drain down Bassett Road, where Bassett Road is now, and there was a large sump around the back that's now pretty much filled in. The drains are blocked and have been blocked probably for the last 8-9 years, and nobody does anything. Each year it gets flooded out. Bertie would lose all his stock, now they're gone. But it's an issue that has to be fixed. If we get any more buildings around there, they'll get flooded. For Christ's sake, this is your child. Where are you people? Don't you look at these things and say something's wrong here, we need to address it. They have the same problem in Cornish Street. They've got a pumping station there that's either grossly inadequate or the pipes are blocked, but it floods. When the Grants Commission come around, and I was involved in some of that, we had a hassle in the old building because the Grants Commission said, well, we really don't have enough money. So much has to go down the south because they've got culverts and gravel roads and what have you. And I said to them, and we got money out of it. I said, Carnarvon has a serious problem. It's dead flat. Every skerrick of water has to be pumped away. It doesn't run away like your mom. And bang, we got some money out of it. So this is your exercise, putting these things together. You know, it's not for me to tell you how to do, but you do need a bit of a wake up. This council, when I talk to people around the town, is on the nose. And I'm sure you've all heard it. You don't like to talk about it, but it is. And it comes back to management. Not you, these people. The government has announced that they expect the population over the next 20 years, an increase of 1 million people in this state. I would be going back to the government and saying, Carnarvon wants a slice of this action. These people have to be fed. What are you going to give us to significantly enhance our water supply? Storage facilities, not pumping it out of the ground, that's sending everybody broke. And it's a finite resource. It's not recharging as we want. Salinity is building up in the town. We need to go back to these people and say, we want to feed them. We want to feed this growing population. We need a help. The state's awash with money. Can we get some of it? You put the cases together. Your role, managers. And I could go on further, but I think I've said enough. Go home, have a look in the mirror and say, what am I doing about it? I've had me bit.
No, Carnarvon finishes at the end of the dual carriageway.
Yeah.
All the work gets done from there into town. There's nothing out in East Carnarvon. It's just barren. And it's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, I can go through the budget. I've been involved over enough years. I don't achieve a lot. We go back through history. What we need to do is say, let's be honest. What are we doing tomorrow? And I have a hard look. You ran a course for people. They came to the show there for expectations for the town, and with great respect. What came back with a lot of lollipop stuff. Expectations. The town has to have an earning. It has to get money into it. If you look back in our history, when we had the tracking station, OTC, DCA, Met Office, prawning factory, all of those things put together, that returned to us close on $1 million a week. in income that the town didn't have to earn. This was paid for by other governments, by various other corporations. That money came to the town. A small amount of it remained there. A lot of it went out again, paying whatever. They're all gone. The only thing that's left here of significance is our plantation industry, a small amount from tourism. A lot of noise is made about it, but we've all been tourists and we don't like parting with a quid when we go anywhere. We spend the minimum, and they certainly spend. We've got a bit from the salt crowd, a bit from fly-in workers. But by and large, the plantation industry is our backstop, and we don't do enough for them. We really need to look at that industry and say, how can we help you improve? And it's not being done. The battling out there, when the president knows he's got a property, he knows it's not easy work making a quid. Your nose is here all the time. It should be a profitable business, a significantly profitable business, and it's not. Well, yeah, I've said my bit. That's it.
Thank you. It won't take very long to respond, but
But
look, we're acutely aware of the problems this town is facing. This council is absolutely acutely aware of the problems we're facing. We took over a shire that was in an absolute mess. And I mean, it was an absolute mess. We've had to go through a process of rebuilding, and we are going through that process. This report is this late because of the issues that we inherited, and there were many issues we inherited. The council has worked extremely hard in trying to overcome these problems. We've got a new CEO. We are improving. We are getting there. We've also been struck with something that's never happened in the history before, the issues of trying to deal with COVID that have impacted how the operations of this council have worked, how to keep people employed. All the issues, every other organisation in this town have suffered from COVID, weather events and everything else. So has the council. The council has been impacted as well. We were told we could not increase rates, and yet all our costs went up. So those were significant impacts upon the council. But we didn't go out whinging to the community. We got on with the job and got what we could get done as best we could. So there are some factors that were really played out in that area. Yes, and we've made a few mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But there's been some significant issues that this council has had to face and deal with and work through, and we're getting there. We are actually getting there. And I've been in council now for 18 years, with a little bit of a break in the middle, and I can put my hand on my heart and say this is the first council in the last 25 years that has not got a division in it. This council works together. And I think the community should be pleased with that.
Well, where are they now? The public come to listen to the council. They never turn up. They haven't done for years.
on the nose, not bothered, waste of time. That's
But that's an attitude that has been around for a long time. It really has, and it's frustrating. And the records will show, if you go back through the records, that at AGMs, very, very few people turn up.
I saw a number of people and said, will you be at this meeting? Asked them to come to the meeting. Right? And the answer was, you're wasting your time, nothing's going to happen. And I think that's terrible to have that. There's a percentage there, but I try to look beyond it and understand why. Why is this the feedback? And yes, I recognise that you've inherited a significant number of problems. I look at the airport. When the airport was purchased, and I was a significant instigator in that, the airport was purchased and we set aside a process and funding so that the airport would look after itself. Previous council milked that and put it out into the levy system. So now the airport is short of cash. It shouldn't have been. There was more than adequate funds there. They're things I have no control over. They're things that are presented to council. They make decisions on what was presented to them by persuasive voices. So that money's gone. But look at what happened on the Facine. And I spoke to a couple of councils. I spoke with the president and other things that I've written here that, about the delegation register. that every council should read, should sign off, that I have read this register. When the party was organising and saying, I'll get my mates to do the job, my delegated authority, and then they had a bind, how do we get rid of this bloke? I said, easy. Council decided to take off his delegated authority. Within 2 weeks, he quit. So you need to be very aware of your delegated authority that goes back years, so that you understand what happens when you have officers making these decisions. And they have a job. They will present persuasive things. You are managers. Read it carefully. Do your homework. And
Thank you.
I've said my bit.
Okay, thank you. Councillors, with that, I will, under this business as permitted by the President, I'd personally like to thank Council for their efforts over the past 2 years, in fact, because it has been a very difficult time. I also want to thank the CEO, Andrea, since her arrival. Things have improved significantly, and I can see us moving forward in a much better fashion than has previously occurred in this council for a number of years. So with that, I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah,